Welcome back to our channel, Soap fans. Today is a beautiful, drama-filled day to dive straight into the most explosive, jaw-dropping secrets Port Charles has to offer. We have a massive, game-changing exclusive that will completely rewrite the landscape for the Ashford and Corinthos families. Grab your coffee and buckle up, because the stakes have never been higher and the fallout is going to be absolute. The fragile peace in Port Charles is about to be shattered by a secret so massive, it threatens to rewrite the entire history and future of the Ashford. We are talking about a seismic shift in momentum, a nuclear bombshell that will leave collateral damage in every single direction. The impossible choices facing these characters are about to reach a boiling point, and the fallout will be absolutely chaotic. It all begins with a simple, well-intentioned offer, a gesture of goodwill that accidentally unearths a life-altering. The tension is already suffocating, and the drama is escalating at a breakneck pace that will leave viewers completely breathless. Michael Corinthos thought he was doing the right thing. Having survived his own traumatic burn injuries and utilizing the exclusive, cutting-edge treatments at a prestigious German clinic, Michael saw a unique opportunity to help a friend in desperate need. He approached Jordan Ashford with a golden ticket, a fully funded, string-pulled trip to Germany to undergo advanced scar treatment for the horrific injuries she sustained in the explosive Route 91 car crash. It was an offer of a lifetime, a chance for Jordan to erase the physical reminders of that terrifying night when she and Curtis were run off the road. Michael laid the glossy clinic brochures on the table, expecting gratitude, expecting relief. Instead, he got a reaction that completely knocked the wind out of his life. Jordan Ashford, usually so composed, so fiercely independent and stoic, completely shattered right in front of Michael's eyes. She pushed the clinic brochures away with trembling hands, her face turning incredibly pale, her eyes welling with heavy, unshed tears. She flat out refused the generous offer without a second of hesitation. Michael was entirely baffled. Why would anyone turn down a miracle key? The answer came in a breathless, agonizing whisper that instantly changed the trajectory of both their lives. Jordan looked Michael dead in the eye and confessed the absolute impossible. She is pregnant. And the father is none other than her ex-husband, Curtis Ashford. The sheer magnitude of this revelation hit Michael Corinthos like a runaway freight train. In a matter of agonizing seconds, Michael went from being a helpful, concerned friend to the sole keeper of the most dangerous, volatile secret in all of Port Charles. He is the only person on the face of the earth who knows that Jordan is carrying Curtis's child. The silence in the room was absolutely deafening as the heavy reality of the situation settled over them. Michael, a man who is certainly no stranger to explosive family secrets and mob deceptions, immediately recognized the ticking time bomb sitting directly in front of him. He urgently pleaded with Jordan to come clean, to tell Curtis the truth, before the situation spiraled completely out of control. But Jordan's fear was far stronger than her desire for this. Her mind was spinning with the catastrophic implications of her unexpected pregnancy. She is acutely aware of the incredibly delicate, fragile situation currently unfolding across town. Portia Robinson has just given birth to a beautiful baby boy. Curtis is currently floating on cloud nine, completely enamored with his newborn son, desperately trying to build a stable, loving family environment despite his looming legal doom and the vicious civil suit filed by Isaiah Gannon. Jordan is utterly terrified that dropping this pregnancy bombshell will completely obliterate Curtis and Portia's fragile new reality before it even has a chance to be. In a moment of agonizing, heartbreaking self-sacrifice, Jordan makes the impossible choice to protect Curtis's happiness at the ultimate expense of her own. She refuses to be the destructive wrecking ball that destroys Portia's. She is deeply convinced that if Curtis knows about the baby, his overwhelming sense of duty, honor, and responsibility will tear his soul in two. She fears he will abandon Portia and their newborn to take care of her, or worse, that the immense stress will completely break him during his ongoing legal crisis. Jordan begs Michael to keep his mouth shut, swearing him to absolute, unbreakable secrecy. She is determined to carry this heavy burden alone, hiding the growing life inside her to preserve the peace in Port Charles. Michael reluctantly agrees to keep Jordan's explosive secret, but the heavy burden immediately begins to take a massive toll on his own personal life. He inadvertently becomes Jordan's silent protector, her sounding board. The only person she can turn to when the physical and emotional toll of the secret pregnancy becomes too much to bear. They begin spending an inordinate amount of time together. There are hushed, urgent conversations in dark corners, abrupt changes in topic when someone walks into the room, and secret meetups to discuss her prenatal appointments. To the outside world, this sudden, intense closeness is completely inexplicable and highly suspicious. The very first casualty of this massive secret is Michael's own romantic life. His current girlfriend, Jacinda, is absolutely no fool. She is sharp, highly observant, and fiercely protective of her relationship with the handsome Corinthos heir. It does not take long for Jacinda to notice the glaring, undeniable red flags popping up everywhere. The suddenly canceled dates, the distracted, nervous demeanor, the constant, late-night text messages from Jordan Ashford. Jacinda watches Michael and Jordan whispering in the Metro Court, their heads bowed together in deep conspiratorial conversation. Jealousy and suspicion begin to fester like a toxic poison in Jacinda's mind, driving her to the brink of paranoia. Jacinda's frustration reaches an absolute fever pitch. She fiercely confronts Michael, demanding immediate answers. She wants to know exactly why he is suddenly so deeply invested in the personal life of the former police. Why is he dropping everything to run to Jordan's side at a moment's notice? Michael is trapped in an agonizing, suffocating corner. He cannot betray Jordan's desperate trust, but his forced silence is actively destroying his relationship with him. He offers vague excuses and defensive deflections, which only fuels Jacinda's fiery suspicion that Michael is carrying on a secret, illicit affair with Jordan Ashford. The tension between Michael and Jacinda threatens to completely implode their romance. Meanwhile, the clock is rapidly ticking on Jordan's closely guarded secret. A pregnancy cannot be hidden forever, and as the weeks slowly turn into months, the physical evidence of her condition becomes increasingly difficult. Jordan is forced to wear loose, flowing clothing, constantly adjusting her posture and carrying large bags to hide her growing bump. The immense stress of the daily deception is eating her alive, but she remains stubbornly committed to her vow of silence. Michael continues to urge her to tell Curtis, warning her that the inevitable fallout will be 1,000 times worse if Curtis finds out from someone else, or worse, figures it out on his own. Michael's dire warnings prove to be incredibly prophetic. Curtis Ashford is a former private investigator with legendary, razor-sharp instinct. He absolutely does not miss a thing. Despite being entirely consumed by his new baby with Portia and his desperate, high-stakes legal fight against Isaiah Gannon, Curtis's radar begins to ping wildly. He notices the strange, highly secretive dynamic developing between his ex-wife and Michael Corinthos. He sees the lingering, loaded looks, the sudden, guilty silence when he walks into a room. Curtis's mind begins to race, jumping to the most logical, yet entirely incorrect, conclusion imaginable. Curtis becomes absolutely convinced that Michael and Jordan are secretly dating behind everyone's backs. The thought of the young Corinthos heir swooping in and romancing his ex-wife sends a sudden jolt of fierce, undeniable jealousy straight through Curtis's veins. He is a man who fiercely protects what is his, and despite his marriage to Portia, he still harbors a deep, protective, and complicated bond with Jordan. The idea of Michael Corinthos moving in on Jordan is absolutely unacceptable. The simmering, unspoken tension between the three of them turns the atmosphere in Port Charles completely toxic. Curtis's dark suspicion quickly morphs into outright, aggressive hostility. He begins to aggressively corner Michael, demanding to know exactly what his intentions are regarding Jordan. A high-stakes, testosterone-fueled standoff ensues between the legendary Ashford and the powerful Corinthos heir. Michael stoically stands his ground, refusing to break Jordan's confidence, but his defiant silence only enrages Curtis further. The explosive, public confrontations between the two men become the hottest gossip in town, drawing intense, unwanted attention to a secret that is desperately trying to stay buried in the shadows. The immense pressure finally reaches an absolute breaking point. Curtis, unable to handle the suffocating secrecy and the perceived betrayal any longer, tracks Jordan down for a massive, fiery showdown. He corners her, his eyes blazing with raw anger and intense jealousy. He unleashes a relentless torrent of accusations, demanding to know why she is sneaking around with Michael Corinthos. He viciously accuses her of carrying on a sordid affair, of lying to his face, of making an absolute fool out of him. The sheer intensity of Curtis's rage is terrifying, a relentless barrage of verbal artillery that pushes Jordan straight to the edge of the emotional cliff. Jordan is completely, utterly overwhelmed. The physical stress of the pregnancy, the paralyzing fear of ruining Portia's life, the agonizing burden of the secret, and now Curtis's vicious, entirely misplaced accusations. It is simply too much for one person to bear. The dam finally, spectacularly breaks. In a moment of pure, unadulterated desperation, Jordan screams the absolute truth. She violently shuts down his accusations about Michael, her voice cracking with raw, unfiltered emotion. She blurts out the explosive, world-shattering reality. She is not sleeping with Michael. She is pregnant, and the baby belongs to Curtis. The heavy words hang in the air like a detonated grenade. The entire world seems to instantly stop spinning on its axis. Curtis is frozen in place, the fiery anger completely draining from his face, instantly replaced by a look of absolute staggering shock. He stares at Jordan, his mind desperately trying to process the sheer magnitude of what she... Pregnant? His baby? The suffocating silence stretches on for what feels like an eternity. A breathless, agonizing pause as the reality of the situation completely rewrites their entire history and their entire future in the blink of an eye. Then, the most incredible, entirely unexpected shift occurs. The profound shock on Curtis's face melts away, rapidly replaced by a blinding, overwhelming wave of pure, unadulterated joy. The deep fear that Jordan harbored, the fear that he would be angry, burdened, or resentful about the timing, completely vanishes in an instant. Curtis lets out a breathless, disbelieving laugh, his eyes filling with heavy tears of absolute elation. He is going to be a father again. The man who missed out on Trina's entire childhood due to Portia's lies is now being blessed with not one, but two incredible miracles at the exact same time. He pulls Jordan into a fierce, passionate embrace, completely overjoyed by the news. But this joyous, tear-filled revelation is only the beginning of an unprecedented storm in Port Charles. While Curtis and Jordan share this beautiful, life-altering moment, a massive dark cloud looms ominously on the horizon. Portia Robinson is sitting at home with her newborn son, completely oblivious to the fact that her husband's ex-wife is currently carrying his child. The complicated, incredibly messy reality of Curtis raising two infants with two different women is about to ignite a firestorm of epic, destructive proportions that will test every single alliance in town. How will Portia react when this nuclear truth drops? Will this completely destroy Curtis's marriage, or forge a new, complicated family? Drop your wildest theories below and subscribe for more.